The nuclear option. Are Senate Democrats ready to run with it? That includes getting rid of what's called the filibuster, so that merely by a majority they can pass whatever legislation they want. Now, how would this radical action open the floodgates for the Democrats to pass their liberal agendas? And what, if anything, can Republicans do to stop it? Here's our Capitol Hill correspondent, Abigail Robertson.
Republicans are predicting dire consequences if Democrats remove the filibuster and permanently change Senate rules, allowing legislation to pass with a simple majority.
When they talk about transforming the country, they'll be able to.
Republican Senator Rand Paul tells CBN News he didn't support former President Trump's calls to remove the filibuster when the GOP held the Senate majority, and he certainly doesn't support it now.
I'm very concerned because basically the future of our country depends on two Democrats right now not overturning the filibuster.
Those two Democrats, Kyrsten Sinema and Joe Manchin.
I am not willing to take away the involvement of the minority.
Senator Manchin confirmed he's not ready to end bipartisanship.
Can you imagine not having to sit down, or there's no reason for you to sit down with your colleagues on both sides and have their input? The Senate is the most unique body of government in the world, of governing body in the world. It's deliberate.
The number 2 Senate Democrat, Dick Durbin, argues Republicans abuse the filibuster, and it's time to end its power.
When Senator McConnell and others come to the floor and plead for us to hang on to the traditions of the Senate, I would tell you that their interpretation of the traditions is strangling this body.
But during Donald Trump's presidency, he argued this.
What about that nuclear option doing away with the filibuster?
Well, I can tell you that would be the end of the Senate as it was originally devised and created going back to our founding fathers.
President Biden suggested this week the Senate should go back to the talking filibuster.
I don't think you have to eliminate the filibuster. You have to do it what it used to be when I first got to the Senate, and that is that a filibuster, you had to stand up and command the floor. Once you stopped talking, you lost that, and someone could move in and say, I moved the question of. So you got to work for the filibuster.
Minority Leader Mitch McConnell warns killing the filibuster would break the Senate.
Even though the American people sent a 50-50 Senate and a narrowly divided House, I don't think they were sending a message that there was a mandate to completely transform the country in every way liberals want to do that.
Vowing if it goes away, Republicans will use every rule and option at their disposal to stall legislation.
They're prepared to steamroll the Senate into a majoritarian body, just like the House, because it inconveniently gets in the way of all they want to do, to run up the debt, to raise taxes, and you've seen the disaster at the border.
Under current rules, Senate Democrats don't have the votes to pass the House-approved Equality Act or the For the People voting reform bill. If the filibuster goes away, those bills and more, such as D.C. statehood, could become law. Reporting from Virginia, Abigail Robertson, CBN News.
Now remember, so many of the appointments of a president have to be with the advice and consent of the Senate. So the Senate's got to approve them, and that means there has to be a vote. Now, if that filibuster is done away with, when Harry Reid did the nuclear option, he did it just for judges. And using that, when the Republicans got control, they just put judge after judge after judge in with a simple majority vote. But here are just some of the laws we can expect to pass if the filibuster is changed. The Election Reform Bill, the Equality Act, statehood for D.C. with 2 more senators, statehood for Puerto Rico with 2 more senators, a Green New Deal, gun control, and more. And there's something else, by the way, folks, that it was called the Fairness Doctrine. Now, the Fairness Doctrine, when it was in place, said that if you put on a conservative, you had to have a liberal in balance. Now, the FCC changed that, but if other FCC commissioners are moved through the Senate and they abolish the Fairness Doctrine, it'll cut all these conservative talk shows off the radio. That would have killed Rush Limbaugh and others like him. Now, that's what's in the offing. Now, it's a very serious matter, folks. And this Equality Act means, look, you will be able to register everybody to vote. You will have ballot harvesting. You can send out limitless ballots without respect for the fact they're not asking for them. They're just going to be flooding the mail. And the opportunity for fraud will be overwhelming. And the Democrats feel that with the immigrants coming in, that they'll mostly vote Democrat. So what are they going to do with them? They will try as they can to register as many illegal aliens. For example, in Virginia, where they've got so many liberals running the show, they've just started a thing that's going to give prisoners the vote. I mean, people who are released from prison, regardless of what their sentence or anything about them, if they're on parole or have been released, they will be able to vote. They couldn't vote before. Well, that's what's in the offing, folks. And it will be a one-party state, a takeover, and it will be impossible for the Republicans ever to gain power again. It'll be decades down the road. It depends on two senators right now, Kyrsten Sinema and Joe Manchin. Two senators will make the difference. And if they switch, the floodgates are open.